hearty welcome to Grandma's Wealth Wisdom with your hospitable hosts, Brandon and Amanda Neely. This is the only podcast for strategies to grow your wealth simply and sustainably, like Grandma used to. Without further ado, here are your hosts.
Hi, I'm Amanda, and welcome to Grandma's Wealth Wisdom, where we work with you to build wealth Grandma would be proud of.
And I'm Brandon, and I had a really great conversation the other day at the gym that sparked the idea for this podcast episode.
I have to say, Brandon, you're like one of the only people I know that actually talks to people at the gym. I never talk to people, but you start up conversations all the time, and it takes you longer to work out because of that. I just have to throw that out there.
Well, and actually the guy that I had the conversation with, he started the actual relationship. So he also works out, but he knows everybody at the gym. He's very aware of the regulars and all that stuff. So through that relationship, through working out there, he sees me regularly. And so we started a conversation, and then we started talking. Hey, how's it going? How's your routine going? How's life? Whatever. What do you do? All that kind of weird stuff that happens when you actually talk to people.
Gotcha. Okay. So, you told me about this conversation, and then the next day, something very similar came up at an event we were at, and I'm going to tell that part of the story. And this was not a gym story. It was just at an event.
Yeah. And because meaningful things come in threes, I have to go back to a couple days before the conversation at the gym to share where the idea popped up in my mind and came to the forefront, which then sparked that conversation with my friend at the gym.
Yeah. So these three things for the same topic came up 3 times. One was Tuesday, one was Friday, and then the next was Saturday, back to back all in a row. So take us back to the beginning. Take us to Tuesday. Tell us the story. So
I was actually listening to my mentor as he was engaging in a conversation with a potential client and learning. That's kind of the point of my role in this, was to learn how he communicates with other individuals through his pipeline. And so this girl was on, and she was saying that she heard about him through a podcast, and that she learned a lot from listening to podcasts, and learned one big thing. And this really stuck with me, of course, because we're doing a podcast about it, right, Amanda? So this really stuck with me. She said that she always tries to learn from successful people, and they oftentimes, they read a lot. She reads a lot. But one thing she discovered is that every successful person she was coming across has at least one financial advisor as a guide. So she found out that the successful people that she listens to all had one common denominator, is they had a financial advisor as a guide. So that's why she was connecting with my mentor. So she found herself a financial advisor that she trusts and is ready to listen to and consider carefully everything that he shares.
So you were part of this conversation in order to learn from your mentor. But what really happened, I guess you probably learned from him as well, but also you ended up learning from the lady that he was talking to. I think that's really cool that because you were in this learning stance, you ended up learning more than you expected to. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I learned from that, and I was like, oh, where are these other people? And as I listened to podcasts, who are they mentioning as leaders, as who they look up to, and all that. So another way of success, leaving clues.
Yeah. So that's the Tuesday story. What happened Friday?
Yeah. So then I'm going to the gym, and I had met with this guy. Again, we talk regularly, and he said how that he has mentors, or that he values having that kind of thing. Like mentors and coaches are very helpful and important to reaching your goals. And he listens to podcasts, so I think that's a plus for him. So I asked him, as I was thinking about this idea, I asked, so what coaches and mentors do you have in your life right now? again, this is a long series of conversations. And when I asked him that, what coaches and mentors do you have in your life right now? Not just virtual, but real ones. He said, that's a great question. I don't have any right now, and I need them. It was actually jarring to me and to him how his actions maybe didn't align as much as he wanted with his values that he was going after.
Yeah. And I would say this is something that is true for pretty much everybody. Like, we each have things in our lives where our actions are not aligned with our values. I think that's true for Brandon. That's probably true for me. We can't really see them for ourselves, but that when we have the opportunity to have our eyes open, that's when we see that, wait, we say we value this, but our actions don't speak that we actually value it.
Yeah, I think that goes to me whenever I said, I value eating healthy. I value thinking about that approach, but I didn't actually have anybody that I was reaching out to help me with the nutrition plan and all of that. And so that took me a step.
You said you valued eating healthy, but your eating habits did not look healthy.
Reflected. Hell no, they did not. I can't say. Anyway, they're getting better. Amanda helps me keep accountable, as well as our nutrition coach, my nutrition coach. So this is a big reason we need mentors or guides. They are often really good at seeing where our actions don't align with our values and helping us get alignment in those areas that we're going after.
Yeah, when we can't see them for ourselves, our guide, our mentor, our coach, they can see those things for us and then help us figure out what then we should do. So that was Tuesday and Friday. And then Saturday, the very next day, we heard an 8-year-old who calls himself the middle school millionaire. He was speaking. Again, 8 years old.
An 8-year-old was speaking?
Yeah, 8 years old. And he taught us the 3 keys to success. And the second key that he taught us is to have a mentor. And this kid, he had some really great things to say about it. And was clear that he was putting it into action. And I was thinking, from the mouth of babes comes truth, right? This 8-year-old was talking about this whole idea of being a mentor. And then when he was done talking, his dad got up to share and spoke really intentionally to the kids in the audience that day. And he was talking about a couple different things, but particularly about the power of having someone to talk to. And I don't know about you, but when I was a teenager, I sometimes felt like no one gets me. No one understands where I'm coming from. And when life would get out of control, it would feel like I didn't have anybody to talk to that would really understand where things were. And he was trying to, telling them this is true, even as adults, that we sometimes feel this way. Mm-hmm. And how when life gets out of control, when our worlds get out of control, we really need someone to talk to. But if we haven't built the relationships with people that we can go to, then we might feel like we have nowhere to turn. And this is what I was thinking in my head as I was hearing, this 8-year-old talk and then his dad talk, was that that's one of the most powerful things that I've found with the mentors and coaches and guides that we've worked with. That there are times when I feel like our conversations are pointless. We're just talking and things aren't moving anywhere. And I have to remind myself that no, that's when we're actually just building the relationship. Because then when life gets, out of control, when my world feels upside down, I know I have someone I can go talk to. And often what happens is I already have a call scheduled with them and, things go topsy-turvy and I can think, I can get through this for the next couple of days. And then I'm going to talk to so-and-so. And I know they're going to help me figure out how to handle this situation in a more positive way. So let me just get through these next couple of days. And then when we meet, I'll get a helpful and hopeful perspective. We'll figure out what action to take that can resolve the situation and make things much better. And that's happened time and time and time again, that when life gets turned upside down, that I've built that relationship. I know who I can talk to. And in fact, I have a call scheduled with them soon.
Grandma always said, eat your vegetables. She loved making home-cooked meals with healthy food and from-scratch desserts. Would you create a diet of fast food or cookie cutter financial products that made you fat and bloated with fees? Or would you like wholesome, time-honored wealth strategies served with balance and trust? Get started with your healthy money planning by downloading Wholesome Wealth Recipes. Your Moolah Cookbook is waiting for you at grandmaswealth.com.
Yeah, I've seen that multiple times in our life, from the coffee shop world to like a spiritual aspect, all kinds of aspects that's happened where we've had those relationships and already had built that. So coaches, mentors, advisors, guides, whatever you want to call them, each one of us needs people in our lives, not just virtual lives, but people in our real world life who are sharing wisdom and helping us find the wisdom within ourselves. You know, I think about this from the epic movies, right? The epic movies have those guides like Gandalf going ahead of Frodo, already has known the path and shares with Frodo how to get through it. And there's guides in all these epic movies, and you know who they are. You know, Frodo, of course, and Gandalf are the Tolkien ones, I guess you could say. Just using that.
That was a good pun. I like that pun. So Brandon kind of talked about how we have these people in our lives and they've really made a big difference to us in business and finance and the spiritual side. Brandon started just working with someone around nutrition.
Yeah, even our coach for the podcast. We have a podcast coach that helps us get through and learn better ways to podcast.
True.
Just one way.
Yep. So, and this is really what we strive to do through Grandma's Wealth Wisdom. On the podcast side, we strive to share the wisdom that we've received and be helpful to the people that would be listening. And then we also work with people one-on-one or as a couple. We'll work with one of us and take that wisdom and tailor it to them specifically, as well as ask questions that help draw out the wisdom within them. We like to, see what that wisdom is and help put together strategies to take that wisdom and put it into action within their lives, particularly within their financial lives. And the reason we do that for people is because we've experienced so much good from the people who've helped us do that kind of thing for ourselves as well. So when we're talking about this idea, like success leaves clues, having a guide, a mentor, a coach, like that's really like core central as something we value and something we try to live out each day.
Yeah. And I would say not just having one guide, but having multiple ones is really important, like a team of guides even.
Yeah. And I think you've got a tip for who not to have as a guide.
Yeah. So one quick tip, of course, is find coaches who have been where you are and are where you want to be, who actually have a proven track record. I can't tell you how full the market is of wannabe coaches who talk about starting a business and will guide you through it, but have never actually done it themselves. Like that really annoys me. Like avoid and research your coaches and find out the ones that are doing it and avoid those type of coaches. That is one of my pet peeves. Amanda hears it all the time.
Yeah. And so the fun question we like to say that you should ask any financial professional you're thinking about working with is, what do you do with your money personally? And see if what they do is something that you could learn from. And if they're, sharing the same kind of strategies that they do personally too. And then if you're doing a business coach, ask them, what's your business and how successful is it? Or, that kind of thing. You want to be diving into that. And of course, if you happen to be looking for a financial coach or would like an alternate perspective on what you're currently hearing from your financial advisor that you're currently working with, we'd love for you to consider working with us. One promise you should know that we make with people that we work with is that we will not charge you for strategies that you do not use. Again, we will not charge you for strategies that you do not use. If you're not going to use a strategy, there's not going to be a bill for our time and anything like that. So the first step to take to schedule a meeting, see if we would be a good fit for working with you, is to go to grandmaswealthwisdom.com and click request a meeting. And there you can schedule an introductory call, 15 minutes, see if we're a good fit to work with each other and talk about what it would look like to take some steps from there.
Yeah, I really like talking about this topic and thinking about this topic. Of course, that's what I was thinking about for the week, that success leaves clues. Again, that's a Tony Robbins quote. And again, he's one of those people that really empower people, has this coaching idea down. But there's also somebody else that I think is why we chose this theme in our podcast and our website is grandma, right?
Right. I think grandma is the epitome of who we can turn to for guidance, for a listening ear. Now, of course, I didn't have a grandma that I could do that with. My only grandma that I met passed away when I was 5. But there are grandma figures in my life that I think of as the model for what it looks like to be a guide, to be that listening ear, to be that person who you can talk to when life is turned upside down. And that's really the kind of person you want to be a guide, to be a mentor, to be a coach, to be an advisor, is the kind of person that's going to treat you like grandma would treat you. Be that listening ear, sit down over a cup of tea and some cookies or, carrots or whatever it is, and just listen and take time and not rush through things. And that's really how, we try to live our lives, and who we like to work with is people that are in that kind of mindset and wanting that kind of service from a guide. And so when you hear Grandma's Wealth Wisdom in the future and you hear us talking about what we're doing, have that picture in mind of that we're the people who sit down, are listening ear, talk things through, and have fun doing it at the same time, like grandma would.
I still go back to the movies of Gandalf and of Harry Potter's mentor,
Dumbledore. Can't believe you can't even think of this. Dumbledore.
So Dumbledore, all of these are older people that led them down the journey, and they had little gray hair, yet they were central to the movies and to the theme. And grandma is just as central to your epic journey. So anyway, think about grandma as one of those guides there.
Yep.
So on the next episode, we're going to be talking about how to save money. We're going to be revealing and deep diving into, as we were just talking about it, grandma's ultimate strategy for making your money work hard for you. So learn that sage advice from her. You work hard for your money. Isn't it time your money worked hard for you?
With that question, we'll leave it hanging until next time. And you can continue to keep building your wealth simply and sustainably for your own future and the future of our grandchildren's generation. The topics presented in this podcast are for general information only and not for the purposes of providing legal, accounting, or investment advice. On such matters, please consult a professional who knows your specific situation.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.